book, and welcome, family. And I did say hi to everybody who was in the chat, although you didn't hear me. All right, so I'm going to screen share. So here's the book, and it is called Chaya, Eat Life and Fast. And this is the symbol for a wall or a set apart Jacob's ladder to heaven. This is the Yod, which is the hand of Yah. And this is the Hey, which means praise Yah. So it's like Chaya. And that, in part and parcel of that, is Yah's name. There are some people who would say this means Yahya, okay? And so the reason why I use this title is, and it was intuitive, I didn't even know what it meant very clearly until even just the last year, 6 months. So it means Yah is life, or it means Yah, the self-existent one, who has always existed outside of time and inside of time. This is from the word where Moses is talking to Yah, and he says, "Who shall I say sent me?" And he's like, "Is sending me." And he says, "Tell them I am that I am." That is Chaya, the self-existent one, who was and is to come in the form of Yahusha, whom others know as Jesus. All right, all right. Now, Paul, do you really think I should restart? I think I might just edit it and just hope people come in with patience. And if anybody starts watching, Christopher just put up all of these confusion looks instead of saying, "I can't hear you." So if anybody's just come in, just avoid watching the beginning of this until you hear me start to speak, because I have this issue with the technical stuff, which is why I don't always do lives. Even though I know a lot of technical stuff, for some reason I have this recurring problem. So welcome. And here we go. So Chaya, as I said, Yah's name is inherent in that. And we know that Yah is life. Yah is life. All right. And it's called Chaya, Eat Life and Fast, because he is life. And because fasting is one of the ways that we cleanse and purify our bodies and get more in touch with Yah. And Yahusha said, "I have food to eat that you don't know about," when he was fasting, okay? And because what was he doing? He was eating the word. And that's why he says at one point, "You have to eat my flesh and drink my blood to have eternal life." Now, he didn't mean it, his body literally, but once we are in the body of Yah, he is our sustenance. In the same sense that, now I'm saying Yahusha, that means some people know that as Jesus, okay? So that's the Savior. And he says that you should abide in me and let my word abide in you. I in you and you in me, for I am the vine and you are the branches. And so by abiding in his word, then we are fed by his word. And so this is why he said to the enemy, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahuwah," okay, the creator, the eternal one, most high. And so this is the reason why we fast, is to be fed by the word, okay, and to purify and cleanse ourselves. And so the book is a book that's set up to understand fasting and healing from an Israelite perspective, and it's influenced, first of all, by Yahuwah, all praises to the Most High, then by Savi, Eris Lathan, and Max Gerson. Now, Savi was a Hebrew, and he used a very specific alkaline diet. And then Eris Lathan is another person of Hebrew descent from Jamaica and somewhere, I think it was Belize or something like that in the southern lands of Shem. And then, and he is the father of the raw food movement. So all these people who've been talking about eating raw food in the last kind of 10 years, he's the father of that raw food movement, okay? He's the one who came up with all of it. There's tons of videos of him online. And then it's also influenced by Max Gerson, who cured a lot of people of numerous illnesses with a special juicing protocol and diet. And it was actually an elderly woman who found a book belonging to the people in Europe about juicing and asked her to heal him using that book. And of course, the original people of Western Europe, Germany, Britain, Spain, France, were the Hebrew, were the Israelites, okay? That was part of the land of Shem. So that being said, the book obviously was written by me, Rachel Williams, and it's recipes for living, fasting, cleansing the body, and detoxification designed by Yah, of course, and influenced and inspired by Sabi, Harris Lathan, and Gerson. And the scripture says, be not wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahuwah and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. This is the seat of health, is to fear Yah and keep his commandments. Okay? So this is functional living found in food and in Yasharel, straightway living, and food and fasting. And so that's what the book is about. So taste and see that Yahuwah is good. And the reason why I'm bringing up the book is because when I ask you guys for donations, I love to give you something of value. And also because we're coming upon Pesach. And so it's a good idea to fast, whether it's a plain water fast, a Daniel fast, or anything like that. And so this book can help you with that. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just my perspective in studying the scriptures as a teacher. Can everyone hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you're having any issues. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want to get into trouble again. So what do we have here? So as you can see, this is the introduction, and then you have breakfast and juicing, dressings and sauces, side dishes and broths, main dishes, desserts, Hebraic levity. And so that includes articles on fasting, earthing, healing reactions. So when you feel toxic when you're fasting, what to do, prepping for healing in times of plagues, and other articles. And finally, it ends up in food lists, because the scripture has lists, and then Sabi has his own, okay? And so this should help with that. And then we go into the introduction, and it says functional living is health. Now, the Hebraic lifestyle is a functional lifestyle. That means it's not Western thought, it's Eastern and Southern. So everything you do, it's not abstract. And this is why the Hebrew language was originally pictographic. It was not symbolic. For some reason, guys, my numbers are going down really low, and maybe it's because of the beginning of the video. Just let me know if you can hear me, because I feel like there's some confusion happening, and maybe I should have just started all over again. Maybe I should put a note in here. I'm just going to say start at sound, early sound issues. So it's as though people are having like tech issues, and so they're falling out. So the Hebrew language is a pictographic language. And the reason for that is because when Yah spoke the word into being, then it became an actual thing. Why? Because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the physical, actual evidence of a concrete thing that was formerly not seen. So when Yah speaks the word, it becomes an actual thing that walks, talks, moves, breathes, does things. It's functional. Okay? And so the Hebraic lifestyle is a functional one. So I'm just trying to say, see note above, it's a functional lifestyle. That means that it is a way that you live. It is a levity, like a levity. And so this is for instruction in living, okay? So this first introduction goes into the things like the circadian rhythms, things like aligning yourself with the divine order of creation, okay? And so that is what we are looking to do in preparing ourselves for the upcoming Moedim. Now we call the upcoming appointed, we call them appointed times or Moedim. We don't call them festivals because the root of festivals is evil feast, okay? And we're not always feasting, we fast. We fast for atonement and so on. So we're keeping the appointed times. And as we move towards the first Moedim of the spring, which is Pesach and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you want to spiritually prepare for that time, because when we keep these appointed times, it means that we have an appointment with Yah on earth and in heaven. So again, it's the functional reality of earth that extends spiritually all the way up into heaven. And then he deposits something in us as we observe functionally the feast or time, okay? All right, so that's what I mean by Hebraic functional living. It's a concrete reality. And every time I've done these appointed times, Yah deposits a word in me, and you have to walk it out. And so part of the way that you can prepare your spirit man for that is by fasting. And so this book has a number of fasts in it that are biblically based, and it talks about the medical benefits of fasting. Now, as I've said, I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice. This is just me as a Mora teacher sharing with you what the Hebraic lifestyle is. And my background, if any of you don't know, I haven't talked about myself recently, but is that I come from a Levitical background. And one of the tribes I actually come from is the Luhya tribe, which I believe is actually a Levitical tribe. Yeah, confirm that with me. So, so let's keep going. So here's a section of the book, and this is also in the early section of the book. It's about food prepping and so on. Welcome, GT. Welcome, Hajj Online. Welcome again, Paul Sticks. I said welcome to you guys before, but you didn't hear me because I had it on mute. You guys forgive me for my technical issues. They just messed me up so much. But yeah, it's good. Praise yeah. And thank you for helping me, because we do need each other. I need you guys as much as you may need this information. Okay. So bless you for telling me. Hajj Online. Praise yeah. All right. So this goes into eating alkaline, which is the Sebi perspective on livity. Okay. Now I'm not saying a diet because we don't want to die yet. Did you die yet? No, we want to live, right? We want to be in the way of the levity, the priests of Yah, right? So, because what? Chaya, Yah is life, right? So this section is going into eating alkaline. And so you'll begin to understand what getting alkalinity in your body is. Praise Yah for you, Elder Paul Sticks. And so he goes into the particular foods at the end of the book, but right here, we just do a basic survey of Sebi's history, okay? And what the Bible says about eating a vegetarian diet. For example, it says, every seed I have not planted will be thrown into the fire. So Sebi emphasizes avoiding hybridized foods because they're manufactured. And Yah is Kodesh. Kodesh means set apart. It doesn't mean month. It means set apart. He likes to set this thing apart from that thing. Okay. And he likes to have a pure line coming through these set apart things. This also discusses that we are an electric body. We have a charge. Okay. We have a charge. And so he explains that our pituitary gland is made of carbon and the cerebral cortex copper. And these are the two elements of any power generation. So we are light-based beings. We are light-based beings. And so we need alkalinity in our food so that the electrical system within us can run correctly. And so also, well, I don't want to spend too much time here because let's get to the recipes. We know people love food and we know, and the fasting, okay? But we talk about Max Gerson as well here. Now, in this section, we talk about the human microbiome. And this is the connection between your gut bacteria and your thinking and your functioning. Because your lymphatic system, which is your human microbiome in your stomach, extends all the way to your pineal gland. So it is influenced by it. So what you eat influences your spirituality, your energy, your overall sense of wellness. And when we get a lot of corruption in our system, then we start in contaminants, we get parasites, we get heavy metals, those kinds of things. It makes us foggy. It can actually shut down the pineal gland influence a bit. And so we want to keep those waterways and streams of the body clean and clear of parasites, okay? Now we know that Yahusha said, out of your body, out of your belly shall flow living waters. And so he was speaking to the cleansing of that basin. There was a basin that was before that the priests used to wash with before they went into the temple. So that basin within us has to be clean, okay? And this is also why they say of the nations and others that their God is their stomach, their belly. So we don't want our God to be our belly. We want our solar plexus to be the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, to lead us into all truth by the spirit, okay? So it's not about your gut, it's about your spirit, all right? And so, but nonetheless, the healthy gut balance is very, very essential. And I also talk about the fact that there are various foods that we can eat that help the human microbiome's culture to run efficiently. And this is one of the reasons why when Israel was let out of Egypt the first time, Yah had them fast and purify, and then he gave them manna from heaven. He gave them the body of Yah, the manhu, the flesh of Yahusha, the bread of heaven, which has the soul in it that gives you life, because it's Yah's spirit is in that food. And so he gave them manna to eat for those 40 years to transform their gut bacteria into a positive, good culture. And so we talk about a lot of this in the human microbiome here. So this is just some educating. All right. And we talk a bit about difference between organic and non-organic. I really recommend, as I say here, that you just grow your own because they're doing all kinds of stuff with the food now. All right. And it talks about GMOs. All right. And even Hippocrates, even though he wasn't Israel, he says sickness comes via the accumulation of daily sins against nature. And I think I also refer to the China study. And the China study talks about how a meat-based diet brings on a lot of illness. Now, in the past, they did a lot of animal sacrifices and they ate meat. But now the amount of bioaccumulation, the accumulation of toxins and sins that is in the whole earth and furthermore in animals makes it more difficult for us to get our nutrients from them or for them to not be clean, okay? All right, so the next area that we go into here is we go into prepping. So if you're trying to do a really healthy lifestyle, here's some great ways to begin. Staple foods to keep, ways to begin prepping with some staple foods. Some of them are like pre-roasting vegetables if you're a busy person, have jar of chickpeas, wild rice, quinoa, these hanging around so you can make big salads. And also having things like pesto or green sauce made, or sauces, so that if you're busy and working, you can just throw these things together. So, and then we go into some of the breakfast foods. And so here again, I talk about breaking your fast, because when you go to sleep at night, your stomach shuts like a fist and it cleanses. Okay. And that's what the word fast comes from holding fast. Okay. And it won't let anything in and it cleanses it out and then it removes the toxins. And so you want to have something alkaline or water first thing in the morning to flush those things out. And that's why you want to have fruits and prebiotics and probiotics mixed together, because that feeds the good bacteria. And there are a lot of things that feed good bacteria in your stomach, which make also for a healthy mind. And that includes things like kombucha, ferments. Now, Sebi doesn't recommend ferments, but I do mention them in the book. So here's some of the breakfast ideas and discussions about the benefits of fruits, how you can prepare these things in advance to have a healthy lifestyle. And they're actually simple once you get used to doing it. How to make a compote, which doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, which you can put on things, or you can put on things like biscuits. Now you'd think, oh, these are some really fatty biscuits with some whipped cream and everything, but this is coconut cream, okay? And you can just have it on these biscuits and they're just made with coconut oil, okay? That's not Sebi because he doesn't like to cook coconut oil. But I bake with it, make biscuits with it, and put some compote on it. It's a nice breakfast or a dessert as well. I also go into a lot of these drinks that are good to have while you're fasting. There's a recipe for tamarind juice, how to make tamarind juice, just ginger and tamarind. You just throw it into a thermos and wait a few minutes, let it steep for about an hour, hour and a half, and then you can drink it and do a couple of pours of it. And you can drink it throughout the day, and it's highly alkalinized. It has a lot of oxygen in it, almost like what's it called? I often forget what it's called, but anyway, it has a lot of oxygen in it, so it really helps your lymphatic system, and it helps with smooth elimination. Okay, I go into some juices that you can juice, green juice. And this is another version of the green juice, which has my own personal version, but here's Gerson's version. And then this is my version of a Sebi style green juice, okay, with nopal cactus in it, all right, and ginger. So that's really, really good. I drank that for a while, a few years ago. So, and it's got oranges and lemons and limes, nopal cactus and ginger. So it's very simple. This one, it's not spinning. It's not letting me do anything here. Let me just stop the share. So the next juice, let me see if I can just scroll down, guys, just 1 second. My computer's mad at me. It's like, you got too much going on. I may have to switch to my PowerPoint because the PDF is not cooperating. All right, so we'll go into a PowerPoint. All right. So next we go into dressings, sauces, and ferments. And so this is like a green sauce. This is one that has apple in it. Now, the important aspect of having these kinds of foods in your livity is that they aid with digestion, and they also help your body detoxify. Or if they have a ferment in them, like apple cider vinegar, they'll benefit your gut bacteria. Or if it's just pure fruit and limes and everything, the acidity of them aids in your digestion. And so that's why you want to pour them all over your vegetables and stuff when you're having a salad in really liberal amounts. Like you should drench them. So, and here's a list of fermented foods that are very good for you. These are all things I've made myself. And so here's some of the great dressings. Now, this is a great dressing for Pesach because it doesn't have anything that is fermented in it. Okay, so it's just mango orange, lime, some maple syrup, and some of the green sauce. Okay. This one does have coconut aminos and apple cider. So those are ferments which help the human microbiome, right? Here's some other recipes, more kind of Asian, and then a raspberry vinaigrette situation. And of course, because I have so many African Americans, or rather Hebrews, who are residing there, then I made a potato salad option. So this is a very green potato salad vegan option, and it's made with sesame butter and avocado and dill and lemon and all that kind of stuff to make it really nice and sticky and full of nutrients. And then you just use all of these high nutrient potatoes of the potato family. So purple potato and yams, and not just a plain white potato. Okay. So you're getting more nutrients when you're eating in a healthy way. You want to eat the most nutrient rich foods you possibly can when you're eating vegetables. And so eating a lot of the white stuff, not as much nutrients, but when you get into these, more nutrients. Okay. And so various other dressings and sauces. This is a great sauce. Here's 2 different sauces. This is a really good roasting marinade for vegetables, etc. And if you have those and you set them aside, you can use them throughout the week, put them on pizza, put them in a soup, whatever you want to do. It's part of your prepping situation, okay? And this is the green sauce, which is another essential part of food prep, okay? This is a real kind of West Indian Hebraic thing. And I think it's where, what do they call that stuff in the States that they eat? Oh, I used to hate it. It's like, they have it in Canada too. You put it on hot dogs and it's really sweet, but it looks like this. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Put it in the chat if you know. But anyway, relish. I don't like relish. It's too sweet. But I think they added sugar because, you know, the companies often add a lot of sugar to ruin a really healthy product. So I suspect that's what they did to relish. So this is probably the true relish. I should probably put relish beside that in another edit of this so that people will know true relish or something. But it's got all of these great things in it, like cilantro, parsley, basil, jalapeno, onions, yellow peppers, sea salt, limes, shallots. And so all of these things are cleansing. Again, these herbs all have a function when you eat them. Functional living. So not only are they good for you, they have a health benefit. Okay, so not only are they nutritive, not only do they give you nutrients, they also have a health benefit. Okay, things like thyme or rosemary are excellent bitter herbs for detoxification, although they don't necessarily always taste bitter, but they are. And so then you know if something is bitter, it assists your gallbladder, liver, etc. We have great dipping sauces. So this is like peanut sauce. We tend to stay away from peanuts because they're, for some reason, historically in the last kind of 20 years, they've been sort of contaminated, the word is allegedly, with molds and stuff. And so that's why people have allergic reactions to them. They are a legume, they're not a nut. And I think possibly they're a hybrid. I don't have anything against them personally. I can eat them sometimes. And I do get the peanut butter powder, but they're hard on some people and they're not SABI recommended. So I created this dipping sauce, which is like any kind of peanut sauce you'd have with a Thailand food. Yeah, Paul Sticks is like, relish is nasty. Isn't it? It's like mayonnaise. It's like, you're like, what is this about? Anyway, and then of course, pesto sauce, which is a version of green sauce. Green sauce is pesto sauce, actually, but it's a more simplified version of it. And so it's a great recipe again to have. It has cleansing properties. You can also, in that green sauce recipe, I don't believe I put basil in. Yeah, I didn't, but you can put basil in. I'll put basil in at times, these green herbs that you want to put in there. And they're very, they could also be called bitter herbs. So when you're having Pesach, you can have green sauce or you can have the pesto sauce, okay, as your bitter herbs, okay? just to encourage you. It doesn't have to be terrible. Now, there's also the green curry sauce. This is Thai style. These are the foods of the Hebrews. It's not all the stuff that people talk about. All right. So again, it's a lot of these cleansing, purifying. It's got turmeric. You can get turmeric root, fresh basil, cumin, lemongrass, garlic, ginger, all of these kinds of things. Now, Sebi does not recommend garlic, so don't put it in. It's sulfur based. All right. And I'm going to talk about sulfur because it's something I learned really interesting from one of these Hebrew brothers. I watch all the Hebrew brothers all the time. They teach me. And then levels me up. You get the seed and then the woman multiplies it. So, but anyway, about sulfur, there are issues with sulfur, okay, and the body, right? So, but yeah, this is another cleansing, purifying. So this is another bitter herb that you could use, you could eat on Pesach, okay? Basic marinara sauce, which you can use for pizzas, you can use for your comfort foods, your big meals, stuff like that. You just prep it, prepare it. We all know what it is, just some garlic, tomatoes, and some parsley and some basil, right? But a lot of people don't know how to make it. And of course, hummus. I absolutely love hummus, and it's a perfect thing also to have for Pesach, upcoming Pesach, okay? So you want to have hummus for Pesach. Because then people can, because you're making that flatbread, you got that to dip into it. But you can also use these other things, not the curry sauce, obviously, so much. Maybe you could, though. I don't know. I've never tried it. Could be good. But definitely the green sauce or pesto sauce you could dip in there. I also do a Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, in honor of my Jamaican roots. And so it is so good. Oh my gosh. I love the heat. And it's also cleansing. Whenever you've got the limes and the ginger and this doesn't have ginger, but when you've got the limes and you've got all of the onions, that kind of thing, peppers, obviously the Scotch bonnet or habanero, as you would say in the States, and I put in tomatillo, which is really good, and cilantro. It's all cleansing again, right? So you can just plop those in soups and stuff. And here is my coconut-based white wine cream sauce, Alfredo sauce. And so you can put this in, obviously over just some noodles and eat it, and have it with some nut cheese. You can also put it on a white pizza if you're making a white pizza, because the coconut is antifungal, right? So what the coconut does is it kills yeast in your body. And so that's why it's a better choice. And I put some other herbs and stuff in there. Like it's a basic roux. So I put some nutmeg in there and some cayenne pepper, these kinds of things. And that is what gives it a really cheesy flavor. I also put smoky paprika, and then it starts to taste really savory and cheesy. Okay. And if you really wanted to add brewer's yeast to make it even more so, you could do that. I don't always recommend it because it's a yeast. And of course, if this was for Pesach, you would not put any brewer's yeast because it's leaven, right? Also, avocado salsa, fruit avocado salsa. So salsa is made with fruits. The avocado is a fruit, okay? And generally you put in tomatoes, they're a fruit. So you can substitute other fruits if you want. So in this case, I put in I don't really eat, I've only grown to like strawberries since I had some real ones from a farm once, but you can put in things like mangoes, you can put in things like papayas, that kind of thing as a substitute if you don't have tomatoes. And it actually makes it even better. So I also have a Sebi seasoning salt. So it's got it's got Irish moss in it. It's got dulse in it, which is something that Harris Latham strongly recommends. Again, really good for your body. And here's a ferment kimchi, one that I made that I like to eat. And I like it because it's got a lot of hot pepper in it, apples, vegan style. Okay. And then, of course, this is another ferment-based chickpea miso gravy that you can make, and you can dip fries in it just like it was meat gravy. And so then we have all these great salads and stuff and side dishes and like just roasted. I'm not going to go through every single one, but you have your roasted Brussels sprouts. Again, here's the roasted vegetables, a bit of pesto on top. And then you can also do things like these, like rolls. You can do veggie spring rolls. You can do them with seaweed. You can do them with cabbage, or, what's the one they love in the States? Collards. Okay, you just have to soften them a bit. Here is my vegan soup. It's like kind of like a Jamaican style vegetable soup with lots of herbs and pumpkin and stuff in it. Really good with chickpeas. And then here is how you make the Irish moss broth or gel. Okay. And so when you make the Irish moss broth or gel, this is something you can then make into a nice soup with onion in it. And you can drink that when you're fasting, and they'll give you a lot of minerals and nutrients. And of course, it's what the Hebrews ate when they were escaping from Ireland. And so various other soups, Hippocrates soup, which is a very alkalinizing soup for the body. Okay, various salads, preparation steps. Some of the salads I've already gone over. And then we have our heavy meals. So we have vegan burgers, that kind of thing. Moussaka, nut meatloaf, cabbage rolls, shepherd's pie, japchae. We have coconut curry. All right, but this is callaloo. So it doesn't really have much curry in it, just a teeny bit. But this is what they eat in Jamaica, and it has purslane and callaloo in it, which are so loaded with nutrients, very different from other vegetables. Callaloo and purslane are extremely high in nutrients. I have mazerwood, so the lentil stew that Jacob made, I believe. I believe this is a stew. When you go to the Ethiopian restaurant and they give you mazerwood, this is what I believe was given to Esau. This is what he traded for, because nothing like mazerwood. And wood means temple, okay? So, and Messer, I can't remember what it means, but this is Berber spice, okay? So just other recipes, like these are the cabbage steaks that I made from that image on the front of the book. And then things like Mauritanian rihad tahine, because, I talk about the rihad structure, right? So all kinds of recipes, pizza, dessert. This is really good, not for Pesach because you can't have leaven, but this is really good. These biscotti bars, or just everyday power bars, they're very sweet, but not much sugar in them. And they're a great dessert, perfect for tabernacles, actually, or Shavuot. And other things like pumpkin pie, not pumpkin pie, but coconut cream pie, how to make it. And banana cake, all kinds of stuff. So the most important thing here, though, is that I go into a discussion on fasting. I go very deep into it. Here it talks about fasting and what fasting truly is. And it's to close the mouth entirely. So in some cases, it's no food, no drink, and you lay on your side, sadi. Okay? All right? And I mean, I could go into this forever. This is like a really intense kind of study here. So it's about a 8-page study on it. All right. Health versus spirituality. What was the Daniel fast? How long did Yahusha fast? Breatharians, how they fast. So involving Yah in your fast, fasting for health reasons, as I already said. And even going into people in the scripture who fasted. So one of them was Yehudith, who is in the Apocrypha, and she only ate every Shabbat. She fasted all the time, and she would look extremely beautiful because it actually makes you younger. Hate to appeal to your vanity, but anything to get you fasting. And also I talk about the Herxheimer reaction, which is detoxing when you're fasting. And sometimes you need to protect yourself from all the toxins that are being released too quickly. And so there's ways to do that, and there's symptoms for that. Okay. And we talk about the liver, which means glory. All right. And water, what kind of water to drink? Distilled water, obviously spring water, fresh water, or filtered water, filtered spring water. And we go into the whole procession of life, how important it is to get out in nature, get your sunshine, your vitamin D, and retune your body to Yahuwah's creation. And earthing is one of the ways that you do that. This is a picture of me up in the north in BC. And I remember when I took this picture, it was before I woke up to truly being a Hebrew. And I kept looking at it going, it looks like I'm in a grave. I was like, why am I in a grave? And of course, everyone knows about the awakening, right? So it was like Yah was showing me that I was in a grave, that I was dead. I just think it's so interesting the way that Yah shows things to us. So he's always revealing things to us. So I also have a link to my video, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made, which talks about how the body works very much like the earth. So the earth is a reflection of the design of the body, because the earth is actually a great tree. And we are called trees as well in scripture. So you see the parallel. And so that's why we function very much like the earth. We have our bowels below, which would be hell where the fire is, right? We have the ladder, the Jacob's ladder, which is our spine, you know, the top of the tree, which is the top branch, et cetera, et cetera. And the earth itself has pillars, it has legs, and we're electrical. So in the same sense that you have this aura or aurora borealis going around the earth, we also have an electrical field or aura moving around us. And we have rivers, lakes, and streams that represent either in an ocean, like the belly, the blood, the lymphatic system, all of these things. And that pump in the earth generating the aurora borealis is related to the heart. Okay. So, and then lastly, like here's an article on prepping for prevention. You can go to my website, which is livelightwell.com, or you can access the same thing through Into All Truth. And it goes into ways that we can prep for preventing plagues in these times, okay? With just natural things to keep the body strong and shield it against those things. And of course, it talks about the ancient healers, and Sebi is one. So I go into that and how they are really helping to return us to the ancient path, because that is the command of Yah to Yasharel right now. And the grafted in Gentiles is to return to the ancient path, return to the ancient path. And so it goes into all of these things, natural herbs, you know, cleaning products in your home, oils, all of those kinds of things. This article is like almost 3 years old now. And there's a lot of people who are talking about healing with the things we're dealing with now. And they're quoting a lot of, in general, they quote what's there. Exactly. So, so then this is Sebi's permitted food list, all of his alkaline foods. And then these are the biblically clean foods. Okay, and unclean. And so that's it. And that's the end of the book. And I just tell you a little bit about myself, and that's it. So family, I really appreciate you watching, taking the time out to spend some time with me. And I'll show you where you can get the book. And once again, I ask for donations. You can go to livelightwell.com or Into All Truth. Sorry, I'm just looking for it right now. So I don't mean to not be addressing you. All right. So what you can just screen share one more time with you. So you can go here to livelightwell.com. You can also just put in Into All Truth. It'll go here as well. IntoAllTruth.net will bring you here. So don't be confused if you see Live Light Well when you're trying to go. It's the same thing. I use both sites because I started off with a health site, and that dealing with the actual body and the spirit is one of the things that moved me. Then I went into flat earth, and then the whole Hebraic thing, I woke up to that. And so this was, the health thing was my first way into it. And so we do have a Shabbat study. We talk about that and the scattering of Israel. And here's the health aspect, okay? And if you want to, check out, this is all the stuff about Israel. And then this is the stuff more so about health. So we have our blog in here. So we have some of the articles in there. I really recommend people read this article from the video that I did on Henrietta's lap. It's very interesting. But some of the same things are in here. What kind of juicer to buy if you're juicing and why. But if you want to find the book, you just go here and shop, and you just hit buy now, and that's where you can get it. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Marco Black. Praise Yah. Bless you. Baruch atah, mishpatah. Baruch atah. I really appreciate you watching and coming to my channel. And I have so much more content that I want to show you guys. It's like I've fine-tuned so many different things, and now I have a very clear picture. So I'm going to have a lot of videos coming up. We're doing Japheth right now, which should be 2 to 3 lessons. We'll take a break also for Pesach because we have to talk about the calendar. We have to talk about the moon. We have to talk about where the land of Israel is located. And we have to talk about why the Enochian calendar. And the Enochian calendar, the 364-day year, points you directly to the 144,000. And so if you're keeping these appointed times, you understand the calendar, shape of the earth, all of these things, then you're getting more of the whole truth so that the Ruach HaKodesh can lead you into truth to understand the times, okay? And so a lot of people are saying they need to understand, the lands of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the shape of the earth, so they can get a clearer picture of, where they're supposed to be, especially as Babylon falls, everyone has to return to their own land. So I'll be doing Japheth, and then as we get into the new year, into the spring, then I'll start on Shem. And in between that, I'll try and get some videos out. I have to, about the calendar. So that's a big priority. So we may take a little break from Japheth for the calendar, okay? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Baruch atah. And where is everybody? I've got the wrong page on, guys. Just see my face here. Thank you for watching, Paul Sticks, and may Yah bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine on you. May he be gracious, lift the light of his countenance, and give you peace. Okay? And Rev Ot Yahuwah, return, O Yahuwah, to the countless thousands of Yasharel. So, and you guys, please make comments, because a lot of the Hebrew channels right now are getting tons of views, and I don't know if it's actual views. So please comment so that I know you're actual people, because I'm just curious about that. Nonetheless, I'm grateful for the views. It makes my channel look good. But Anyway, bless you guys, and all praises to the Most High Yahuwah, who was and is to come. And I just pray good health for you. May you be well. All right. I'll let you guys go. And I just have to say shalom and chaya.